Hi, welcome you to this very interesting session. As you may be aware that pharma is one of my favorite sectors, and we keep holding some pharma name or the other pretty much all the time because it gives an opportunity to be part of a global business, a growing business, and something which is actually helpful for mankind. Now, while we are studying different, sectors, industries, I thought we'll take this opportunity to take you through something that, uh, we came across when we were studying, when we were studying the pharma opportunity. So there is this huge opportunity that is opening up because of the patent cliff. I will not spend a lot of time, but I'll, hand over uh, to Pratik, who will explain to us what the patent cliff is, or what does it mean, and what is the opportunity that uh, we are looking at. Before we start, or before I hand over, standard disclaimers apply. Basically, we will we are looking at this more for our understanding of the sector. We are not trying to discuss any individual stocks. Uh, Whenever we take an example, it is basically for example purposes. So, take this as educational purposes only. And it is always safe to assume that whenever we are discussing any stocks or sectors or industry, that we have a vested interest in that. We may have our own positions, we may have investments in those. And the other point to remember is we can change our opinion on any sector or any industry as and when we get updated data. The other thing is everything that we discuss here today is basically available in the public domain. So there is nothing that is sourced uh, which is not in the public domain. And uh, with that, basically, let me hand over to Pratik. Pratik, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dada. Uh, so we will talk about patents today, and just a very basic introduction about what patents are. What are some of the type of pharmaceutical patents, and this term called patent thicket. We'll explore what that is. Probably discuss some case studies which explains the concept of patent, and some past instances of how pharma companies have used patents to grow their revenues. Then we will talk about what exactly a patent cliff is and what it means for the innovators and the generic pharma manufacturers. So a patent is nothing but it's a government granted monopoly license, you can say. It is granted to the innovator to provide them with exclusive rights to market and sell their innovation. Uh, it helps the innovator to actually recover the R&D costs that it may have incurred for the development of the product or innovation. And in the pharmaceutical industry, uh, a patent can have a life cycle of say 20 years. So you can imagine the kind of fillip that it can give to the innovator company in terms of revenues. So what are some of the type of pharmaceutical patents? A pharmaceutical patent could actually be for the compound or the formulation, or it could be a method of use patent. How exactly these are differentiated is a compound patent, if you know the compound or the active pharmaceutical ingredient, that is what is novel in nature, and that is what the pharmaceutical company applies as a patent. So the chemical formula or the molecule, that is what is patent, that is what is protected by the patent here. Then you could have a formulation patent. So a formulation patent is interesting because even though the base chemical or the API that is used into the drug, that may have been widely used in or maybe an off patented product, but the formulation or the drug delivery mechanism that could maybe a qualifier for the patent. So what I mean by that is, you could either have a delivery mechanism via a oral tablet, you could have it via an injectable, or you could have it via an inhaler. And we will discuss a specific case study or an example in our further slide to better explain what a formulation patent, or how a company can qualify for a formulation patent. Then you have a method of use patent. What a method of use patent is, suppose there is a drug that has been in existence and in use for a particular disease, and then company does R&D and finds out that you could also use this drug for another specific set of patient population, or other diseases. That could also be a patent qualification. And pharma companies, typically what they do is they sort of multi-layer these patents one over the other to protect their research. And this is what is known as a patent thicket. And we'll cover an example of a patent thicket also, and how a company in the past used this patent thicket to grow its revenues and protect the monopoly it had. So this is the case study that we have for the formulation patent. This is a drug called Suboxone. It was filed for a patent by Indivior. Indivior actually came up with this novel formulation wherein the two chemicals that were used for opioid addiction in the US. I'm afraid I will not be able to pronounce this. Buprenorphine and naloxone. So it was these two chemicals. They were widely used in the opioid addiction therapy in the US. And what Indivior came up with is a formulation or a delivery mechanism in a sublingual film format. So it was a film that dissolved under the tongue, and what it did is it improved the dosing control first of all, and it also helped in abuse resistance. So the two chemicals that were being used earlier, patients had problems with the dosage, and they were prone to drug abuse with those two chemicals. Indivior with its formulation tackled those two problems, and when they got the FDA exclusivity for that, it became a blockbuster drug for them, with over 2 billion sales annually for the period 2012 to 2014. The other interesting thing that happened with this case is a lot of companies challenged Indivior for their formulation patent, saying that it was not a novel idea per se. And a very renowned Indian company, Dr. Reddy's here, they came up with a challenge in US, and they were actually granted the FDA approval also for that in 2018. Indivior then got into litigation with Dr. Reddy's, and they sort of held back Dr. Reddy's via court injunction order. So Dr. Reddy's was not allowed to sell the drug for a period, say from 2018 to 2019, and but they continued to persist with that. And in 2019, Dr. Reddy's again got the go through for selling the drug in the US. In fact, Dr. Reddy's continued the litigation matter with Indivior, so much so that in 2024 they were entitled to receive a $72 million settlement for the lost sales within that period. The management also commented on this matter, with their entry in the generic Suboxone film, that showcased the capability of Dr. Reddy's navigating this complex litigation and regulatory environment which exists. So this case study shows you what are the challenges and the complex dynamics that takes place whenever this kind of an event happens. Now we come to the another drug, Humira, which was launched by AbbVie. This is to showcase the example of patent thickets. So AbbVie's drug Humira, it was destined to expire. The patent was destined to expire in 2016, but AbbVie fiercely protected this. It was their best-selling drug, so they fiercely protected it via filing several additional patents. Many of them tweaking the molecule for the formulation, for the manufacturing process, methods of treatment. And well, it was such a breakthrough for AbbVie that, even after the expiry of the drug in 2016, you can see that from this sales curve that we have showcased, from 2016 revenues of 16 billion, after the patent expiry, AbbVie was able to scale this product to 20 billions in the next 5 years. So this is the kind of breakthrough or leverage that patents can give these innovator companies. Next up, we have a very recent ongoing litigation between Dr. Reddy's and Novo Nordisk for the drug semaglutide, the talk of the town GLP drug Wegovy. So Novo Nordisk patent is actually going to expire in India in 2026, and no, Dr. Reddy's has gone up against Novo Nordisk and they have this litigation going on in Delhi High Court, wherein Delhi High Court has actually restricted Dr. Reddy's from selling the drug in India because they think that it is infringing the patent of Novo Nordisk, and Dr. Reddy's has alleged that Novo Nordisk is basically doing nothing but evergreening their patent. So they have this next hearing scheduled in August of 19, and this again showcases like the high stakes battle that patent cliffs have become, and it's being contested not just in the marketplace but in courtrooms as well. So with these case studies explained, we'll now come to exactly what a patent cliff is. So patent cliff is the event that occurs when a blockbuster drug loses market exclusivity. So what is a blockbuster drug? A blockbuster drug is a drug that does over $1 billion of annual revenue. So whenever a patent cliff occurs, it means a whole lot for the innovator, because it's like losing out on market share and pricing power overnight. Within a quarter or two, the prices for the drug crashes down by 80-90%, and this actually leads to a lot of revenue loss on the innovator's part. But what it does for the challengers is it provides a very major revenue windfall if the companies are able to prepare for these timelines early on, and if they could file their product early. And within this, there is an interesting provision in the US which is known as a para 4 filing. So under the Hatch-Waxman Act in the US, generic players are allowed to file para 4 challenges, wherein it's basically a declaration saying that we know that your patent is invalid. I mean, we believe that your patent is invalid and that we're ready to launch. So these are say at-risk launch, and this is what Dr. Reddy's had done in the case of Suboxone, and we'll see that there have been many such instances of para 4 filings where if the company, like the challenger company, believes that they can actually litigate the matter, they have been successful with their litigations also. So, like I said, whenever a patent cliff happens, there is a loss of exclusivity, which is known as an LOE. So, going forward in the next, say, 2-3 years, there are a lot of emerging such loss of exclusivity opportunities, and we'll discuss what the forecast for these opportunities are and how it is relevant from both a scale and a strategy perspective. We'll look at some more case studies where, in the past, how aligning with these patent expiry timelines, Indian pharma companies have been able to deliver shareholder value because of, early generic launches. So coming to the forecast and why it is important. So this is the data that we have taken from Dr. Reddy's annual report, and they have cited this from IQVIA that for the period 2019 to 2023, the loss of exclusivity or the brand loss to the innovators that happened was about $80 billion, and going forward for the period 24 to 28, the forecast for this brand loss is about $192 billion. So that's a very big opportunity for the pharma companies. And remember that this is just a brand loss. So basically, it is a loss of revenue for the innovators, not per se the revenue that would accrue to the emerging players, because prices crash after that. But still, I mean, this is a very big structural turning point, from the perspective that a lot of these upcoming LOEs, they are dominated by a very complex biologics and uh, therapy drugs that are very hard to replicate. Uh, it involves a lot of regulatory know-how and technological capability to develop the drugs that are going to expire from here on, and which then becomes very important to align the R&D and the marketing strategies to bring these generics into the market against the patent expiry timelines. So whichever company prepares for this early on, they are the ones who are going to be the big beneficiaries. uh, and so some of the past instances where Indian pharma companies have been successful with these is the case of Sun Pharma with Protronics. So Protronics was a $1 billion drug for Pfizer, and Sun Pharma did an at-risk launch in 2008 against Pfizer, and they were continued with the litigation in up till 2013, and therein they reached the settlement with Pfizer. So Protronics as a drug gave Sun Pharma an immediate access to $1 billion market. Between 2008 and 2015's, like, Sun's net profit tripled and its market cap also surged. So this like showcases the kind of orbit shift that well-timed cliff participation can deliver. Then you have another case of Lupin. So Lupin also followed a very nice cliff playbook, wherein they were able to launch over 60 products in the US. Many of these launches were actually within a quarter of patent expiries, and this cliff aligned portfolio strategy that helped Lupin catapult into the top tier pharma exporters of the world. uh, there is another interesting fact mentioned down here, which is the case of Natco. So pharma companies, if they can get a license from the innovator to uh, file their drug, or sell out their drug before the patent expiry, that can also be another route to access these markets. So Natco was the first to secure the compulsory license for Bayer's cancer drug, and that allowed it to garner huge market share even before the patent expired. So this is another way, if the companies are confident that I mean, their product is a superior quality, or a better product for the patients, they can actually take licenses from the innovators to launch their product early on, even when the patent is under existence. So now we come to the main highlight of the presentation, which is the upcoming LOE pipeline, and we've categorized this into three baskets. So you have some of these drugs which are already existing off patent opportunities as of FY24. There are drugs which are going to come up within the next 2 years as an opportunity, and there are drugs which are later on going to unlock after, say, FY27. So these are some of the drugs, and you can see Humira, which we discussed as a case study. Then there are two very major oncology drugs, Opdivo and Keytruda. Those are going to emerge late FY27 kind of opportunities. And within these, we have selected like five very high impact drugs on which some of the leading Indian pharma companies have already either initiated development or filed for approvals in these molecules. So these are like some of the most tangible near to midterm opportunities where if pharma companies are able to execute well, that can meaningfully alter the earnings trajectory for them. So we'll be discussing five drugs here, and the Indian pharmaceutical companies which are developing these or targeting these opportunities. So first up, we have Opdivo. Opdivo is a cancer drug by Bristol Myers Squibb, and they did about $9 to $10 billion sales in 2023. Its composition patent expires in 28, and it's used for different types of cancers: small cell lung cancer, then you have renal cell carcinoma, and even gastroesophageal junction cancer. So it's a PD-1 blocker, and this PD-1 blocker technology, you could say, it's used in most of these oncology therapies. And the company that is working here is Shilpa Medicare. So Shilpa Medicare is in fact working for both the two oncology opportunities. One is nivolumab, which I just mentioned, and the other is again, I may mistake this pronunciation, pembrolizumab. So pembrolizumab is another oncology biologic that I'm going to discuss next, and these are like amongst the top 10 biologics in the world as of now. Uh, so Shilpa Medicare, in this very recent February 25 con call, they've said that they plan to initiate the preclinical trials for these two drugs, and hopefully they'll start the human clinical trials in the next financial year. Then you have Keytruda or pembrolizumab. It is again your PD-1 blocker technology for cancer treatment. It is developed by Merck, and the patent is going to expire in 2028. It did about 25 billion, so $25 billion of sales in 2023. You can see the kind of large scale revenue opportunity that these kind of drugs provide. In fact, Dr. Reddy's is going to target this opportunity, and just last month only they came up with this announcement that they are going to partner with Alvotech. So Alvotech is a US listed player which specializes in the development and manufacture of these biosimilars. Therein they cited that in 2024 Keytruda did about $29 billion of sales. So even on such a large base, these drugs are growing, say, 20-25%, and this is going to be a major game changer for Dr. Reddy's if they are able to crack this. Then we have Symbicort. So Symbicort is actually a formulation patent product. It expired in January of 23, but then there are additional inhalation delivery patents which run through 2030. It is a drug from AstraZeneca, and its global sales were about 4.6 billion in 2021. And thereafter, as the patent expiry for the formulation neared, downward pressure has started emerging. So we have a very well-known player here, Cipla, which is doing very well in its respiratory segment. They are planning for FY28 launches for some other large assets, and such as Advair and Symbicort. They have been continuing to say that it's going to be a good drug for them. Lupin is another that is there in this space. I don't think they have launched a generic version of Symbicort yet, but they are also very well entrenched into the respiratory portfolio. The other drug is denosumab. So if you notice, there's an interesting thing here. A lot of these, big drugs, they have this suffix in the end, say nivolumab, pembrolizumab, denosumab, this umab kind of thing, MAB. So what is MAB? MAB is basically a monoclonal antibody. What I think is a big opportunity for some of the CDMO players going forward is those who are developing this monoclonal antibodies, because as and when the manufacturing of these generics scale up, a lot of monoclonal antibodies will be required. So that could be another area of study going forward for anyone who is interested into the pharma space. So denosumab is marketed as Prolia and Xgeva, and it's a drug from Amgen. Its European patent expired in June of 22, and the US patent just expired in the February 25. They did about 4.4 billion of sales in August 23, and Xgeva again has a therapeutic application in oncology. So a lot of these oncology drugs are, going to emerge as like patents are going to expire and it's going to open up for generics. It is sad, but that is what the case is. At least the forecast says that oncology is going to be a big booming therapy space. So Aurobindo Pharma is the company that is working here, and in their February 25 con call, they said that they plan for the European filing in October quarter, and the US filing is going to be in next fiscal FY26. In fact, at the time of making this presentation, I think Biocon also came up with their denosumab generic, and they've probably launched also. So maybe just few weeks back only this announcement had come. Next up is, and the last one is Victoza or liraglutide. Liraglutide, again, most of us will be knowing this name because it's a GLP-1 receptor from Novo Nordisk. Its active ingredient actually expired in 24, but the device patents like extend up to 2030. It did 1.6 billion in sales as of April 24, and even though a lot of companies are into GLP space in India, but a very prominent one is Lupin, I think, particularly for Victoza, because they have their launch they expect the approval just within this next month. So between July and August, they are planning to get the approval. So that concludes like our presentation, and with these five drugs, like mm, hopefully we have offered a compelling snapshot of how Indian pharma companies have positioned themselves to capitalize on some of these patent expiration opportunities, and just a well calibrated pursuit, of some of the very large drugs like Opdivo and Kitruda. If maybe Shilpa or Dr. Reddy's, if they are able to capture that, that could like significantly reshape their earnings profile for the years to come. So that does it for me, Dada. It's over to you now.
Okay, thanks, Pratik. I think it's very interesting to observe that there are so many blockbuster drugs which are going off patent in a very short period of time. Uh, and what we really need to concentrate on going forward is how some of these companies, and we've not done an exhaustive study on all the companies that are working with each of these molecules. But as and when some company does some filings or comes and announces uh, launch of a particular product, that is where I think we need to focus, because these kinds of opportunities do not come very often. They come once every maybe few years, maybe a few decades, and then it gives you, or it gives these companies an opportunity to sort of participate in that journey for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Uh, with that, I think this is a good presentation. We'll close for today. Do send us your comments and feedback, and hoping to do more such sessions in the future.